Alright, yesterday, as I mentioned in the previous vlog, we kind of broke down. Billowing white smoke was coming out of the exhaust and a massive loss of power, and then we just pulled over, and she's now reluctant to start at all. There's also something broken, as you've seen in this clip here. It's the fuel filter's obviously come off of its mounting. Whether that's contributed to what's happened at the moment, we don't know. There could be other problems, so we're going to delve a little bit deeper. And Kevin's had some experience with these engines in his dim and distant past, and is going to sort of peel back a few layers and see if we can figure out what's going on before we ask for any serious help. Frustratingly, we're only about 15 to 20 kilometres away from where we want to be to take the boat out of the water. So worst case scenario, we'll get the boat towed to there, because we're going to be in the area for at least a month anyway. So we've got time to figure this out, so I'm not going to stress too much. So first things first, we'll have a look at the bracket and then the fuel filters, and we'll go from there. Right, so this was the offending item that has broken in the engine room and caused the fuel filter to sort of fall from its mounting. Whether this has contributed to what's happened or not, I'm not sure yet, but we'll dig a little deeper and we'll find out. Kevin's just fabricating a temporary bracket so that we can at least get it mounted securely in the short term.
And Cameron gets his hands dirty for the first time.
What are you talking about? I'm filthy. Can I get a drum roll, please? Okay, so still broken down. We've still not gone anywhere. My good friend Kevin came and we went into, well, he went in the engine bay and went through the filters, drained the water off the fuel filter, checked the other fuel filter. We almost managed to start Badger, but then she would just die. So we kind of exhausted what we could see. I then decided we should just call out River and Canal Rescue, because we do have the cover, and it wouldn't be a bad idea to have one of the engineers come out and see if they just can't get us moving. So we did that, and a nice young fella comes out who's been doing this for a fair amount of time, 10 years. He went through everything that we went through, and then a little further, and he's discovered that there's air being sucked into the fuel lines, and he thinks he's sussed out where it's coming in. But before we go down that rabbit hole, because he'd been here 2 hours before that happened, he's going to get a second opinion from one of their other engineers, and if he concurs, as it were, then we'll just go and get probably a new, either, I don't know whether you can just get a new diaphragm for the lift pump, or whether you just have to switch out the lift pump, but the lift pump's only 16 quid, so if that's the case, that's not catastrophic, I can cope with that. So we're stuck on the canal in the glorious sunshine, in beautiful weather and in nice surroundings for another day. So I guess I'll cope with that. Alright, Kevin's back. There's a bit disjointed this video because I've not been able to use the camera due to battery problems, but this is where we're at now. The RCR has been out twice. They came out once and identified that we had a problem with air coming into the fuel somewhere around where the lift pump is, but they wanted a second opinion, so they called in a second engineer, which took a few days. So on day 5, the second engineer came, agreed with the sort of diagnosis, but has also suggested there may be some other problems, which is a bit worrying. So they've ordered the parts for the lift pump, and we're waiting for that to get sorted out. Now, our battery issues, there's another issue. So Kevin's come down and saved the day and brought us some batteries. Well, we've been doing some investigation, and we've realised, well, Kevin did some research, some bedtime reading last night, and what he's realised is there's a potential that a fuse had gone in the actual battery controller. So we've replaced that, and lo and behold, now the solar isn't just powering the boat electrics in the day when we're up and about, it's also now allowing the batteries in the boat to distribute their power that they've got to the other items that we've got. So we seem to be, I don't think cooking with gas is quite the right term because we're dealing with electricity, but that's where we're at. It all seems to be functioning pretty well, so at least that is a step forward. So down here, Kevin's welded together the bracket that had snapped that I showed you previously and reinstalled that. We had a temporary fix put in there in between, in the mistaken belief that we will be moving in between, which we have not. So that's now been reinstalled. Batteries in here. Right, this giant mess here is what's controlling the electrics. So all of our fuse boxes, all of our fuses for the various systems are here, and here's the solar sort of controller, the charge controller. But what we've discovered is that it also sort of decides, allows the batteries to release their power as well to the rest of the boat. So we've replaced a fuse in here, and pain in the arse to get at, but and now all of a sudden this is reading correctly, because previously we weren't getting the sort of a sunny day like today, as you can see how much solar's being produced, but it wasn't showing that in the sun. It was showing maybe 12 watts, which was ridiculous. And then I realized that if we had an item plugged in to the USB, it was reflecting the same. So that's all we were getting out of the solar, is what we were actually using, and it wasn't allowing the batteries to supply us with power in the boat. We've got power. Camilla's abusing it with luxuries. This is a travesty. Yeah. Are you hot, babe? No, you are. That's why I married you. Yeah. Okay, so jokes aside, yeah. Many steps backwards, but this is a giant leap forwards for us today, because it now means that when the sun goes down, we don't have to go to bed. We can stay up a little bit longer because we got access to power. Yay! Power means cold beer as well, let's not forget that. So now we just wait on the RCR to get back when they've got the part for the lift pump, and hopefully we can get moving to Street Hay. Although I have sent out an SOS to the boating community, and if someone is available to give me a lift, they'll let me know, because I'll take a tow right now just to be in the vicinity of where we need to be in about 10 days time. So yeah, infinitely happier than I was last night, although the Chinese and the beer did cheer me up somewhat. Now, one of the problems of being stuck is we cannot empty our trash, our toilet, or fill it with water. So as soon as our Kevin's fixed the batteries for us, we're giving us a lift to get rid of some weight.
He's now turned into a bin man.
He's a bin man now. Awesome. So after 6 days of being stuck in Polesworth and the river and canal rescue, still dilly-dallying with a lot of things and then trying to pass us over to canal contracting, etc., I was toying with the idea of becoming like a cart horse and pulling the boat myself this morning, but this gentleman over here, he's rescued me, so it's he's going to give us a tow to Fazeley so we can top it with water, and maybe I'll pull the boat along from there. But just when you're at one of those lows where you're thinking, oh bugger, comes along someone, and I didn't ask, they asked if everything was okay, and I said we'd broken down a few days ago, and he disappeared under the bridge, but then he turned up on foot 2 minutes later asking if he could help, and he's giving us a tow. Don't get better than that. Keith's going to be taking us to Fazeley, the junction at Fazeley, and that's halfway between Polesworth, where we've been for the last 6 days, to Street Hay, where the boat's coming out to be blacked. So that's pretty good. We'll be topped up with water, which is also amazing. And if memory serves me, when we came this way 3 months ago in the opposite direction, it should be fairly okay for us to, even if I have to hand tow the boat for a little ways, we'll definitely, I say definitely, we shall now hopefully not miss the deadline, otherwise I'll lose my deposit on the slip for taking the boat out. So I do kind of want to get there if I can, with some days in hand, so we can prepare a few things on the boat and maybe get the engine fixed, because we know what's wrong with it now. So we've ordered the parts because it was cheaper for us to do it ourselves than to use the cover, which is the irony of everything. So yeah, I'm pretty happy though, because this morning we had breakfast and coffee and I was contemplating towing the boat. The complication of towing the boat by hand is all the boats that are moored on the canal side. I mean, how do you get, unless you've got the assistance of the people on the boat itself, how do you get the rope around there without tangling it on anything on top of their boat, etc. So the fact that Keith just turned up out of the blue, and well, the grey this morning, and just offered to help and give me a tow was amazing. So I know we've gone on about in previous vlogs about how friendly people are on the canal network, as I said, with the odd exception. Keith's just proven the point. People are very helpful, and to the point where I didn't ask for assistance. He asked how we were and I said, well, we were broken down. He disappeared past the bridge, and then I was doing something on the stern deck and he appeared on foot. So he literally pulled his boat over, got off, walked back down and asked if we wanted a tow. Amazing. So yeah, I'm very happy. this is the man, Keith, who saved my bacon today, 100%. Without being asked, without being prompted, he kind of gathered from just a quick hello, goodbye as he's going down the cut that I'm broken down, and then lo and behold, 2 minutes later he stood behind me asking if I needed tow. Star, one angel. We made it, albeit not under our own steam, but under Keith's, and that was very kind of him to give us a lift without being prompted. Very grateful. We now have a week here before the boat comes out of the water and our friends come and help us black the hull. I've got a few other jobs I want to get done before then. Hopefully Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday maybe, we'll get the repairs done to the engine and be at least mobile. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, boat blacking, or get the hull blacked. And a few other chores that we want to get done around the boat, because there's a few things that I'd like to clean, sand down and prepare for painting, etc. There's a lot to do. The skies have opened up now today. It's raining, so I'm very grateful that we got here before that happened. Being stuck in the location we're in was fine, it was great weather, but when the skies open up and you don't have the means to go anywhere, not so great. So here, ready and prepared. So I'll see you next week.